Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to this week's edition of the WB Mason Coaches Report, right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Mike Sullivan, joined as always this week by head coach of the Hofstra women's basketball team, Krista Kilburn-Steveskey. Coach, how's everything going?
Going well.
Last night, 101-38 victory over Division II Concordia College, a game you got in front and you stayed in front throughout. Take me through it. What did you see from your team?
Again, it was nice to get on the hardwood after a layover, giving the team a chance to spend some time with their family. So you were just looking for a game and had to fill a spot. So it was again very glad that they got a chance to get going and get moving because we got to play a strong UC Davis team on Saturday at 1 p.m. So it was good for that, and it was good getting a lot of the young kids a lot of playing time.
You set the program record for margin of victory. Let's talk about a couple of those young players. And Krista Luciano and Kelly Loftus both had pretty good games. Luciano, career high 17 points. For Loftus, she had 10, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. She really filled up the box score. What did you see from those two?
Well, obviously you guys see that they're capable of playing. They've been in big games. Both players have helped us, seal some victories. Most notably was Kelly Loftus at Robert Morris, and she was a freshman on the floor along with Alo in that game. So you see their potential. The more minutes they get, the better that they are improving, and really, a lot of confidence from the other crew with the young group. And then Crystal, just as a gamer, she's did a great job in the Virginia Tech game. I talked a lot about that, about being a momentum shift changer for us when we were down. So the more experience she gets, the better she's going to be providing for us here at Hofstra. So we're really excited about the whole team in general, but certainly the young kids that got a chance to get on the floor.
You had 9 days between the Hokies and the Clippers. What about the ability as well to give some added rest to players like Andriana Thomas, Anmaniku, Annie Payton, but they only had to play a handful of minutes and really got to watch the most of the second half?
Right. It's a different role for them to be in too, so they can kind of see some of the things as coaches that we're trying to get people to be, more disciplined. That's probably one of the biggest things I was proud of our crew. You see that we just didn't go out there and do whatever we wanted to do. We were forced ourselves to be a lot more disciplined. Only shot 3 threes in the second half. So, it was good for the upperclassmen to have to sit there and kind of watch. And again, trying to find time for Andriana to get off the court. It was a positive night for that, for sure.
3-3 through 6 games now. Let's talk about Andriana Thomas and her start to the season. Almost a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. She's been very good, especially over the past couple of weeks. What has been different at the start of this season compared to seasons past for Thomas?
Well, she has a lot of options. I think she sees that. She has a lot of confidence, a lot of trust in the players on the floor with her. And she sees those options, so she does a good job of creating that for everyone. And then, even like last night in the first half, I said, you just need to shoot the ball. You're wide open the whole time. She can score. So I keep saying that all year long. So I think that's what makes her deadly, is that if you leave her alone, she can knock down the 3 ball, and then she can create for everybody else. So she's just been having a really good floor game, knowing where people are seeing things on the floor, having a lot of conversation with AO and at times about what's opening here. So I think as her maturity continues, she can call the game a lot for me and for us, and that's really what you want your point guard. You want it to be an extension of you to be able to run the floor for you.
Your 2 seniors are your 2 leaders in scoring, but they also stepped into much larger leadership roles this season. Through the first month of the year, how have you seen Annie Payton and Anmaniku could really embrace those roles?
Yeah, and providing consistency. I think that's what is most needed for them, and that's what they've been doing. Just consistency on the floor, consistency in practice, because when you have some youth and you might have some ups and downs with some of that youth at times, you have to have folks that are trying to bring it for you every night. So I think both of them have been doing that, especially AO. So I'm just proud of both of them, and we just got to keep going and keep doing.
You mentioned it this week. Saturday afternoon, you have UC Davis coming here to Hempstead. They'll take on UConn Thursday before they come here to Hempstead. They're 2-4. They've already taken on Stanford as well. What's your scouting report on the Aggies?
A very different type game. Obviously, very talented team, playing a lot of tough teams on their schedule. So it tells you that she knows what she's trying to do to get them prepared for conference. And they shoot 3, they push the tempo, they do all those little things very well. So we have our hands full on Saturday, but it's going to be a great challenge for us as we're preparing and getting ready to go on the road. So looking for that. We've got to control tempo. We've got to guard the arc a lot better and really put our nuts and bolts on the defensive end.
On paper, it does look like you have some advantages, especially on defense. They average about 20 turnovers per game. What can you do to force them into some mistakes on Saturday?
Again, just continue what we do, play the way we play. It is about us. It's about us, exhibiting that type of pressure. We have a lot of length. We have, again, a good mix of kids we put on the floor that, can cover a lot of ground. So we just have to keep focusing on that. We've got to rebound better, we've got to shoot free throws better. That's probably the two biggest things that we got to keep harping on all year long. So I think we're understanding we're taking better shots. We can be disciplined when we need to be, but we can also turn it up when we need to turn it up. So those are the things. So focus on our defensive end, focus on guarding the arc, and take care of the ball.
You mentioned guarding the three-point jump shot. Doing a good job of that so far this season. Their opponents shooting around 29%. The Aggies as a team shoot 36%. So what can you implement against a good shooting team in UC Davis?
Yeah, I did the same basic stuff that we get to, the core that we've been talking about. Again, covering our bases, find people in transition. They get a lot of easy buckets at times in transition. So I think we just got to stick to our fundamental basics, and that's what we'll be doing the rest of the week to get ready for that. We don't need to change anything that we're doing.
In terms of free throw shooting, you've mentioned that as well. As a team, you're around 63, 64%.
Yes.
Struggled a little bit yesterday against Concordia. How much does the youth factor come into play in terms of free throw shooting with this team this year, and what can you do in practice as the season progresses to try to improve that aspect?
Yeah, I said last night after the game, I do more drills in practice than I've ever done in my career. That actually stole a couple of them from the men's side where, it's a 70% game that is not fun. We got that the other day, first time. And so, we do that. We do something I stole from Coach Summit, Pat Summit, a 21-5 type situation. And so we actually do spend a lot of time. So it really comes down to, again, discipline too. Like last night, it was a big advantage, and you're not taking your free throws serious. You're not mentally sharp. And I think the muscle memory is the muscle memory. You can hit a free throw. Alexis Carter, prime example, probably my best free throw shooter, especially in practice every single day. That she always gets called to hit that shot, and then she misses too. Last night, it's like, you got to take everything pretty serious. You got to dial in very well, and you got to value each point that you can steal in that situation. And I think that's what you're talking about a little bit with youth, is that maturity and valuing, the importance of knocking down your free throws.
Finally, Coach, what's going to be the key to victory to get over 500 Saturday, make it a 2-win week against UC Davis?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's what we do, and continue to dial in defensively a lot harder, and and continue getting better, playing together as a group, sharing the ball and taking care of the ball on the other end. That's some of the tighter games. We've had a lot of unforced turnovers, not forced by people's presses, unforced turnovers. So I think as we're getting more comfortable with what we're looking for and playing with each other. So just a big one like that. It's important because it's our next game. So it's always these little things right now as we're developing.
The Hofstra Pride women's basketball team back in action this Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock against UC Davis. You can watch and listen right here on GoHofstra.com. For head coach Krista Kilburn-Steveskey, I'm Mike Sullivan. Thanks for tuning in to the WB Mason Coaches Report.